Hello, and welcome to Demystify, where we explain smart contract systems in simple terms. Today, we're going to kick off our first long-term project where we compare the performance of traditional finance index funds to decentralized finance index funds. We're going to talk about three things today. What are we going to do? Why index funds? VTI versus BCP, and how are we going to do this? Each week, we're going to purchase $100 of an index fund in each of traditional finance and decentralized finance, inclusive of any fees, and compare their performance over time. There's a few concepts in there to decompose, so let's break it down. First, index funds have two primary desirable features. One, they are simple funds that have diversified holdings across a sector or an index, and two, they typically have very low fees. These are properties that generally make for sound investing, and because of that are often great components of long-term buy and hold investing plans. On the traditional finance side, we've chosen VTI, Vanguard's Total Stock Market Index Fund. By purchasing this one fund, we are spreading our risk across over 3,600 businesses. And for this service, Vanguard charges 0.3%, which is very low. Here's a list of the top 10 holdings in VTI, which account for about 23% of VTI's holdings. On the decentralized finance side, it's much more difficult to find something that has similar properties of being highly diversified across crypto assets and is also cost efficient. The best candidate we have found is PiDAO's BCP, Balanced Crypto Pi. BCP is 1/3 Bitcoin, 1/3 Ether, and 1/3 of a basket of DeFi tokens. Here's a list of those tokens. So how are we going to do this? Each week, we're going to put $100 into each of VTI and BCP. For VTI, we're going to use M1 Finance as they make it easy to schedule weekly transfers and charge $0 for the service. For BCP, we're going to use PiDAO's ovens to minimize fees in the form of gas costs. PiDAO offers the service of grouping multiple people's transactions together, and when there is greater than 10 ETH gathered, then PiDAO pays the gas fees to complete the underlying purchase of the assets. The only gas costs we need to pay are to deposit the ETH and to withdraw the BCP, which is a very small component. So let's take a look at M1 Finance. We've set up an account for Demystify. We've set this up to put in $100 a week with an initial deposit. We can see the pending transfers down here. So we see that we have set up a $100 one-time transfer to get ourselves started. And then we've also set up a recurring transfer once a week on Fridays, so that'll purchase what we set up to purchase. How M1 Finance works is they have what they call pies, which is just a portfolio composition. So you can have multiple funds, you can have funds of funds, you can have individual stocks, but for our purposes, we're being very simple. We've set up just to put 100% of everything we put in here into VTI, which is that Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. So it'll buy $100 each week, and we can see that we have one upcoming trade. We can look at the details on that, and we're going to be purchasing $100 of VTI. They charge 0 fees, so we'll get exactly $100, and we'll do this every week, and that's what we'll be doing on M1 Finance. And on the BCP side, we're going to bake a pie, or we're going to contribute to baking of a pie. So what PiDAO does is they gather people's money together, and once it hits over 10, so the white pie here is about to be baked, they put it all together, and then the DAO pays the gas cost for buying all of the underlying assets, which can add up to quite a bit. So what they do is they offer this service. So what we want to do is we want to buy some BCP, or we want to bake some BCP. We'll bake, the current price of Ethereum is about $12.53. So 0.08, we'll check, we'll want to bake 0.03, that gets us to, right around $100. We'll keep track of our gas fees, and we'll kind of subtract that from our costs overall. So let's confirm. We'll see that the transaction has started. We'll see that ahead of time it was at 1.65 in the queue, and that should go up to 1.73 once that happens. And that transaction completed, and we'll see the 0.8 added, so that's up to 1.73. So once that gets up to the 10 ETH, they'll bake it and we'll pull the BCP out. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.